Post the Gworl, take 3. Action. Alright, y'all, it's been a long time, but we're finally back, and we're back with season 3, so get ready for all new things with insights on culture, beauty, fashion, magazine articles, podcasts, all access, everything. So today, we have a very special guest. Our first guest of season 3, we have ASHKON.
Hey everybody.
Hi.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.
First night Cardi lenses, I can front the trenches. Now I'm running Benz. Switch game with extensions.
So first, I want you to tell everybody, who is ASHKON?
I'm just a Memphis born and raised, trying to tell my story and share my culture through art, fashion, that kind of stuff, and try to do it the right way just so it can last a long time.
Okay. Hey, so tell us about the Con Shop. ASHKON has this really hard clothing brand with all unique, exclusive pieces, I like to say. So tell us about it.
I've always tried to make something that stands out and is unique. I like the fact that if you have one of my items, it could be a one-of-one and nobody else in the world will have it. So I try to tie in my art through garments, and that makes it way more special and way more unique. And that's a big flex, is to have something that nobody else does. That's kind of my bread and butter, is tying in art with clothing, because you become a walking gallery pretty much. And people love feeling special by having something that only they have.
People love exclusive. They love it. So we had the pleasure of attending ASHKON's event, this past weekend, called the Silk Road. It was very nice. You can catch a recap on our Instagram. We're also going to put a couple more. Tell us about what inspired this event, why did you make this event, and what was your overall goal that you wanted to accomplish with the event, or like what is the goals you did accomplish with the event?
So I was always doing pop-ups by myself, and I knew that it can be more than that. It doesn't have to be just me. So, and I was trying to tie in my history, and the Silk Road was kind of a path through Persia to China, and in those times you would run into multiple merchants. That's why it was the Silk Road. You would have a silk merchant, spice merchants, and that kind of stuff. So I took that kind of historical aspect, and I wanted to have multiple merchants under one room and cultivate a safe space for all the coolest people in the city. So that's why I invited Chaz and Zoe from Peso. So it was a nice mix of audiences, and some of my people who've never heard of Dolan Mom Find Out went over there and fell in love with that, and then he had his own crowd and they came and fell in love with me. So that was the whole goal, is to kind of mix audiences and really show that Memphis is awesome, and we can all work together. We don't have to be in our own worlds.
It was a great networking thing, I feel like.
100%.
I saw a lot of different pieces. I was like, I want to, because I've seen Alonzo's stuff, and I've been around Chaz plenty of times, but even with the different pieces they had and that you had, some of the stuff I had never seen before, I was like, oh, this is nice.
Yeah, we pulled out things from the archive.
Yeah.
Try to make it real special just for Memphis, because I want Memphis to have more events like that. I want us to feel safe and have a good time and be in the room with the right people, where you're meeting somebody who could help you or network with you. And that's why I was honored when you pulled up and took the video. I was like, okay, it's happening. It's growing.
The right people in the right places. Love that.
Yeah. Because Memphis doesn't have I don't feel like there's a lot of like art shows and galleries and that kind of stuff. So I was trying to cultivate that, and it definitely worked out. I met a lot of cool people.
Are you gonna do some more here in Memphis?
Of course.
Please do. Please.
But I'm always learning about how to make it better. So this one was nice, but the next one I really want to do like a retail space, clean, more simple than like the big gallery. I want to make it something luxurious. So
I feel like the gallery fits you though, from an artist standpoint.
100%. But I want you to walk in and feel like it was a store, not like an art gallery. I'll still have my art in the store, but it'll be more of a lifestyle and that kind of stuff.
So speaking of exclusivity and uniqueness and art, tell us what makes your pieces different from other brands. Like, what is your wow factor in your pieces that pulls you apart from other brands?
I think it's the fact that I touched it. Not the fact that my touch is anything crazy, but it's like if I spend 10 hours drawing on something and dyeing it and stitching on it, you can see the work and you can be like, this is him. He did all this. It's not somebody else doing all the work for him. So really that hand touch is what's special. So people want to feel connected to it, and especially when it's a one-of-one or it has an amazing art piece on the back or something like that, you can tell there's been a lot of time put into it and a lot of effort. So I'm so grateful people appreciate that, because it took a long time for me to get kind of the motion. So like at least 5 years, but I started getting good, and now thankfully I have followers who are very supportive and that kind of stuff. So I can only grow and get better.
That's true. So I'm going to get into, like, you talked about the labor behind the different one-on-one pieces you have. Before I get into my question with that, I want you to tell everybody, how did you come up with the con shop and what inspired you to get into clothes?
Funny story. Because I was graffiti tagging con around the city.
Really?
And that was my graffiti tag. Then I was like, okay, this is going to get back to me. So I had to stop. But the brand started as Con Artist, just because I was selling my art before I started selling the clothes. And then I was like, I don't want to box myself into just art. So I cut that off, and Con became just kind of like an umbrella for everything I offer, aka design, clothes, art. So my graffiti tag became the brand name.
Like a household name for many different streams.
100%. And it's the second half of my name. It's just kind of like, I used to tell people my name was Ash. And if you really knew me, you knew ASHKON. So that's like two separate entities. So Ash is my presentation name, and then Con is my kind of art side of me.
Like your, what is it called? Alter ego?
Kind of. That's exactly what it is. Because I can go into Con mode and I get real creative. And then when I'm out and about and I want to be cordial, I'll just say Ash. Sometimes ASHKON is difficult for people. I don't know why, but it's a simple name. But
It's very simple.
Ash is short, sweet. And when I was a server, I used to just say my name is Ash, and people always say, "Oh my God, that's such a sweet name." I like that.
It is sweet.
Yeah, Ash is the easy name, so that's why I like to keep it separate. It's the alter ego. You have to have that alter ego that you can fire up to really get in that mode, like Black Mamba and all that kind of stuff. So that's my Black Mamba.
That's your Sasha Fierce.
Exactly.
Gotcha. That's lit. So going back into your one-of-one pieces and how long it may take you to create those pieces, a lot of times people charge their worth, basically.
100%.
So how do you charge? Do you charge based off like the time you put into it, the creation it is itself? How do you decide your pricing? Because a lot of people struggle with figuring out how much to charge for their different items.
100%. So I always try to go into my high school self, and I want to provide items that are under $100 in case there's that young kid who can't afford the $500 jacket. But when you do see that and you really want it, you save up for it, and then when you get it, it feels so much more special because you saved up and it becomes kind of like a staple in your wardrobe, and you treat it a lot different. So my pricing, I feel like I kind of eyeball it, but I'll put it on there and it sells in a minute, and I'm like, should I have charged more? But It's
A lot
okay.
of people go through that though. A lot of
Yeah.
people think that like, they should have charged more for this.
If it took me a long time and there's a lot of artwork to it, the price reflects it. But I also have had people buy stuff and then sell it for double. So I kind of like that aspect as far as the second market. The goal is for you to have these items that are, I never restock either. So if you have something from one era, the price could go up in the future. Who knows if 2 or 3 years from now you can sell Con for way more than you bought it. So I'm not trying to be like Supreme, but I do like the aspect of the stock going up later in life.
I feel like since you said you don't do restocks, when you have one-of-one pieces and then like even the bulk of items that aren't going to be restocked, that makes people want to get it more.
100%.
It's like I'm not gonna be able to get it ever again. So I might as well get it now.
That's why I bought you that jacket. So because when it sells out, I'm on to the next.
Oh, he brought gifts, guys. I'm gonna show you guys in a sec. Actually, and so he passed me back. I'm gonna show you guys now. They're so cute, and the watch looks so good on my. Like it looks so good on my shit. Thank you. I want you to talk about these pieces also.
Okay.
So first we're gonna start with the watch. It's super cute. Can you see it? All right, great. All right, tell us about the watch.
So my thing is, I always want nice luxury items, but I mean, I don't want to go spend 10K on a watch. So I'd rather make them and then and sell them for other people. And I also make them very affordable. Like that's like $150 rather than if you go to the store, way more. So that's kind of how my brand kind of started. I was trying to make luxury items for myself, and along the way I can provide it for other people as well. And quality is key. So
quality is key, and this is such good quality. This is very good.
I'll never put something out that I wouldn't wear myself. That's kind of like my golden rule.
I feel like with a lot of clothing brands, well, now with the thing with people starting brands, I feel like it's kind of like a trend thing right now, and people are very quick to put stuff out, but don't like be not necessarily reasonable, but I would say put the creative energy into it that would make it like, I don't know how I'm trying to say that.
No, you want it to be timeless.
Yeah, like they don't put the energy into it to make it timeless and unique. It's more like put your name on the shirt and.
Yeah, no, I'm done with that. I went through that phase at the beginning, and that's why I didn't grow as fast as I wanted to. But as soon as I started really making something that would last 10 years or even look better over 10 years, like when it ages and distresses, that's the golden factor right there. Something that ages and looks better with time.
But when you put more energy into it, it lasts longer anyway. Right. The next thing is this super warm. Super duper warm.
Yeah, I've done a few, but every time I do it, I do something different. And as far as like I said, my logo isn't like printed. I like hand sewn aspects with a lot of hand sewn finishes, just so you know it's me. So.
Did you hand sew this?
I did it first, and then I said showed them how to do it, and I said this is what I want.
So when getting things made as a brand owner, there are a lot of different places people go, a lot of different countries people may try out. Is there a certain place or a country that you prefer to get your stuff made out of?
It really depends on who their strong suits. So like this is a nice heavyweight hoodie. I got it from Spain, so it costs a lot more. I always try to factor that in case I don't want to sell you a $300 hoodie. I'd rather keep it in like $100 range, just so you can have more sales. Eventually, maybe in the future, I can get into that higher price range. But for right now, I want to keep everything to the masses. I'm not trying to be Hollywood and only have a couple people wearing my stuff. I want everybody to enjoy it. And it's still good quality, amazing quality. So, and I have an amazing knitwear factory. We make a lot of good stuff. So I'm working on a lot of cool stuff for the winter.
So with the factory that you have, how do you find the perfect factory to use when getting your stuff created?
First, I always ask them, let me see your best projects. Okay. If I can recognize one of their brands, if let's say they're doing it for Stussy or Nike or something like that, then I'm like, okay, they already have the materials. They know what they're doing. Then I can start diving into, can you make this design? Always get the sample, never go into the bulk. You want to make sure it goes through you so you can check it and make sure every alteration is perfect, and then move forward. And I do like to find factories that make fake Louis Vuitton, fake Gucci. Not that I'm buying it, but I just know that you already are making top tier items and they have amazing fabrics. So you can just use that fabric and make my stuff with it. So it took a long time to find out, and there's a lot of ways to negotiate. They're always going to try to overcharge you. You have to be a boss. You have to tell them, like, I can go somewhere else, and then they'll randomly drop the price because you have to negotiate. That's kind of an art form in itself, is the art of negotiation.
How do you negotiate? So a lot of people don't know how to negotiate or communicate with brands to get those good deals. That
first number they give you is like their test. They'll see if you like bite on it, and then you're like, no, I actually know somebody else who can do it for this. And then they'll say, okay, fine, we'll match that, even though I don't know anybody else that can do it. So it's almost like a bluff.
They're really competitive.
Yeah. Like I can go somewhere else, and then they'll be like, no, please. And then
'cause they want your business.
And you have to take into consideration, like, what do you want to sell this for? Like, these cost me a lot, and I still don't make crazy profit margin, but I do want to provide it for the masses, and that's why I don't sell. People buy this and they go, I would have paid $200 for that, but I only charge $100.
It feels like it's worth more than $200.
Yeah, but I don't want to be that guy yet.
And it's great to be that humble with creating your stuff, and God always blesses people who are like that. So it's very good at you.
Money is not my motive. I want to tell a story. I want people to enjoy the goods, and hopefully over time I can provide more items that are top tier. Like right now, I do the hoodies, I do the streetwear kind of stuff, but my secret right now is I'm working on not upper class silhouettes, but classier looks. Like I'm working on a trench coat. I want to do some dress pants. I want to have
like trousers.
Yeah, like realms. Like you can go street, but then you can also go high class. Like a trench coat makes an outfit. Like it completely changes the silhouette. So you can mix and match too. You can put the hoodie under the trench coat if you want to go a little bit more street. But I'm trying to be a little bit more fancy.
And the way that you created your brand and the whole like branding and marketing of it, I feel like you would easily dive into those different directions with it.
I just have to tell the story with it. That's the big thing, is I'm not gonna just throw it on the floor, take a picture. I'm gonna have a video that explains the thought process and how it came about, and show the lifestyle. Kind of like, if you wear this, you feel like a boss. Like you're not. It's not just a jacket. That kind of thing.
There's a story behind it.
Storytelling is my favorite thing. I love making videos and commercials, and a lot of my commercials are always a reference to old commercials I saw growing up.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Nostalgia is something I'm always chasing. The feeling of something.
That's what pulls people in.
Yeah, the feeling of something being familiar is kind of addicting. Like you want to. It feels like you've seen it before, and that's why you get attracted to it. So nostalgia is fun, and I like to make things that are brand new but feel vintage, feel like it's been washed 100 times. Because I got a row of shirts, and I always pick the one that feels like it's been washed 1,000,000 times, and it's softer than all the other ones. That kind of thing. Like,
I have a shirt like this.
Yeah, I try to subconsciously be like, why do you always gravitate towards this? And that's kind of what I'm chasing, is something that feels broken in and feels soft. Kind of like you steal your boyfriend's hoodie. Like that. My goal is to make clothes that you want to steal off somebody.
So tell us about like the branding part of the con shop. So describe the aesthetic of your brand, and just like, if you could describe it into one word, what would it be?
Heritage.
Heritage. That's good.
It's a tough question too, by the way. I appreciate you asking that. But as soon as I started looking inwards, that's when things got original. Like, yeah, I can reference Memphis and that kind of stuff, but once I started really diving into my culture and looking inwards, that's when the Persian fabrics came out. I mean, it's been around me my entire life. I just never really looked at it 2 times until I went to my parents' house and I saw the Persian fabrics that they had laying around. I said, "Do you need this?" And they're like, "No." I started cutting it up and tying it into the materials, and
You reworked it.
yeah, and that became way more original than the logos, and the art is still original, but it's kind of my signature now because it's something that I relate to or tie into, and I also want to show the world the beauty of Persian culture and the fabrics and the artwork that goes into it. So that's a big golden rule, is always look inward for inspiration. Because when you look around too much, you subconsciously copy what you like. And that's what I was doing at the beginning. I mean, I loved Virgil. I was like, I wanted to do anything Virgil was doing. I wanted to do anything Micah Mary was doing. But that's when you kind of get played out, because you're copying people, or you're trying to be on that next wave when they already did it. So now I get just looking inwards is really where I find originality.
I want you to tell us about, because I feel like you're kind of like me. Like we're very like to ourselves.
Yeah, that's usually how creatives are.
Yeah.
They're very shy,
Yeah.
soft-spoken, but it's okay to tell your story and that kind of stuff. Sometimes you want to be anonymous and be low-key, but it's important to let people connect and actually see a face to the art and that kind of stuff.
Tell us about like some things you do outside of fashion and outside of your photo brand.
Well, I'll just say I'm an overall designer. No matter what you want, I can make it happen for you. So I design websites, restaurant menus, that kind of stuff, and cannabis packaging for a company in California. So I'm grateful for all the doors that opened, and I'll always say yes. I'm a yes man. Just even if I don't know how to do it, I'll figure it out along the way. And that is a major blessing, is to just learn as you go, because you could be really good at something and not even know it. You just can't close that door. And a lot of doors will open. Like, I'm not good at interviews, but I'll come. I'll figure it out. So I'm not afraid to get my feet wet.
And with that, tell us about the importance of networking to you. Like, how important is networking, or what are some ways you think people could network better?
It's always about being humble, be true, and don't try to be fake to put off a persona that you're really not, because that energy is, I'm not going to say it's toxic, but some people, people can see right through you. So when you meet me, I'm not going to brush you off or not give you the time of day. I'll always sit there, look at you in the eyes, and talk to you, because that's person-to-person interaction is very important. That's really how you connect with somebody.
That's it.
Yeah.
So wrapping this up, I want you to give us your top 5 tips being a brand owner, or just the overall creative, that you feel like you want to pour into other creatives or brand owners that a lot of times people may not want to share, but you feel like it would be good for people to know.
Sure. First things first, learn the basics. Learn how to sew, learn how to stitch, learn materials, learn the gram, weight of the fabrics, learn the knit styles. This is all in one. So that once you learn all that, then you can really start expanding your products and being very specific. Like, I want a cable knit with a jacquard knit on the back, and that kind of specifics can get you great products, because you know what you're talking about. As far as the weight, I want a lightweight tee, I want a heavyweight tee with a vintage wash, that kind of stuff. So really get your feet wet. And I'll never forget, a girl said, "You don't know how to sew? That's embarrassing." Like, this is when I was at the beginning of my brand, and after that I went home, got a sewing machine, and I was like, the fact that she planted that seed, I was like, I have to learn.
I feel like that's a key trait a lot of people should know.
No, yeah, once you learn that, then you can expand, and that's why you have the hand stitch details and that kind of stuff. Second, I would say, don't look around too much. Look inwards, because
That was good.
Yeah, when you look around, you naturally will try to copy something that you love, and you don't even realize it until it's already said and done. So, looking inwards, your experiences and your every tribulation you've been through, that there's some inspiration in that. So, like, heartbreak is one of my favorite fires. Like, getting my heart broken will make me work 10 times harder. That's the reason I had a pop-up. So, we ain't getting into that. But
It led to something good though.
no, the hustle. I woke up savage mode. Like, I like it. I don't get sad. I get hungry.
You pour that energy into another area.
Yeah, you work on your body. You work on your business. It'll all come back to you. So, third, be an artist. Don't. I get the logos and trying to build a brand, but there's an art form to it. You have to really pour your soul into your product, or else it'll just kind of die out over time. But art will live forever. And then, let's see, number 4. Let me think. Think about your younger self. Think about how you feel when you were that 16, 17-year-old kid walking around the store and dreaming about purchasing these things. That's kind of, Virgil always said, I'm making everything for my 17-year-old self. So that's why I tie in, like, sometimes I have like graffiti on some of my artworks. I'm still in that, I don't want to say delinquent phase, but I like that I can reference that. I went through that. I went through the graffiti part. I went through the trying to be an artist part.
Each piece played a part into the step before you ended.
Exactly. And then the last one. Just be true, be kind, and never go Hollywood. Always stay hungry, and no matter how successful, how good you do, you can always get better. So I'm already, that's my toxic trait, is I'm always thinking of what's next.
Always willing to learn.
Like, after that event, I was satisfied, but I was like, the next one. Well, yeah, like, that's why I love selling a 101. I feel like it's like breaking up with a girl, because I don't want to let it go. It's a great piece. It's amazing. But letting it go makes me, it makes me get that fire under me, and I want to go harder on the next one. And that's kind of how I've elevated it. Is I started somewhere, and I'm just trying to replace that love with something else.
Absolutely. You did very, very good. Like, these are all perfect gems that I'm going to use, and I hope you all use too. Take some notes. I'm going to put this clip in the beginning. Grab a notepad for entering this episode. Okay? So, yeah. Tell us, we're going to wrap it up. Tell us one thing about you that people don't know about you. I'm sure there's a lot of people don't know about you, but, like, what's the one thing that you want your audience to know about you?
It's a toughie.
That question always makes people think.
Because if you see me on a pool table, I'm a shark. Don't play me in pool. Don't bet me on money. That's kind
it.
I got addicted to pool, and I think there's an art form around the pool table. I could be very antisocial, but as soon as I'm on a pool table, I can talk, and I love it when people talk shit. Like, it gets me going.
It's always that one thing that brings out the outspokenness and quiet people when they get into it.
And I'm a big actor about it. They'll always say, "Oh, you must be kind of good." I'm like, "No, I'm all right." And then they watch me hit a couple shots, and they're like, "Oh, you lied. You're a fucking shark."
That's crazy. That was a good one.
Yeah, I like that. It's fun just playing people. It's not playing them, but it's the art of making them. It's making them think that they're about to win, but you know you're gonna win at the end.
They're sneaking up on it.
Yeah, it's a hustler.
What are some of your hobbies?
Stay in the gym. The body is very important. I'm always trying to keep my hands busy, and doing different medias, not just clothes. Picking up the paintbrush it's important to not limit yourself to one thing. Always try to branch out because you never know what inspiration might come from a painting. It could go into the clothes, etc., etc. And I love hunting for vintage. I have the craziest vintage shirt collection. I'm like a connoisseur of them because they're just things I couldn't make up myself. Just really unique pieces, and I love something that had a life before me. Like, let's say an old band tee from the 80s, like, you know, somebody wore that every day and it's thrashed, it has the holes in it. Like, I'm attracted to the life that a garment has before it reaches you. So that's kind of my favorite thing.
So this is the last question, but as you're talking, I'm getting like more intrigued. Describe like your personal aesthetic and like places you like to shop for your own like self.
Well, as far as the day-to-day fits, I'm always trying to make that for myself as far as my staple wardrobe. But as I'm expanding into like the classier stuff, I don't go to Joseph's and get a suit. I'll go to the thrift store, find
the best pieces.
Find that and then alter it to fit me perfectly. And sometimes the thrift store leads to some crazy inspiration as far as items you would have never thought about. So that's kind of where the trench coat, the first one I ever got, was at the thrift store, and I wanted to paint on it and that kind of stuff. Just it's like $5-10, so you're not really gonna get sad if you mess it up. You could go find another one. But looking around and always trying to find inspiration through the little things like that.
So with thrift stores, do you mainly shop at like Memphis thrift stores, or do you travel to go to thrift stores? 'Cause a lot of people sometimes may go to a thrift store, but they feel like they can never find anything.
No, it is tough because there is that gang of dudes who go in there and buy all the good stuff. But slept on place is Jackson, Tennessee. I only go there when I'm going to Nashville, but they got some good middle of nowhere thrift stores, and that's where you find the grails, like because it's not washed out. There's not a lot of buyers in there buying all the good stuff. They randomly have some old honky tonk kind of good tees and that kind of stuff. And I'm always trying to understand, why am I attracted to this? Like, I have a drawer of all my shirts that are just thrown in there, then I have the shirts I put on the hanger. And I try to understand, why do I put that on the hanger? And it's because I just value it differently. Like, I want all my shirts to be, when you buy it from me, you put it on the hanger. Like, I don't want you to treat it like it's a throw in the drawer. But it's the story behind the life it had. That's kind of what's attractive to me.
That was really good. Okay, that was my last question. I had to ask that because as you were talking, I was like, okay, I like that. But yeah, guys, that wraps up this episode. Any last things you want to say to the people?
Thank you for allowing me to share my story. I feel honored. You're the first person who really had me sit down and have an interview, I swear. And it's I'm grateful for it. I'm always going to say yes if you ever want me back.
Yay! We'll actually come back 100%.
Sure.
So, yay, guys. That wraps up the first episode of season 3. Stay tuned for next week. We have another episode. And yeah, that's it. All right,